I would urge you, if you're interested in such things, and I know the NFL has been obsessed with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, to read an article in the New York Times that explains how Travis Kelce's management team, since he was in college, has worked with him and toward the objective of making him as famous as The Rock. How orchestrated it has been, though they take great pains to exclude the Taylor Swift part of it from the article, but how orchestrated his 7 commercials this year have been, because he is teetering on the line between hugely popular and enough with Travis Kelce already, because he's so ubiquitous. And it has been orchestrated in a way that I was a little bit surprised, perhaps I should not have been, okay, that he has 4 agents and has added creative artist agency, a different agency, because he wants to get into film. He's got a team around him that is substantive. It's not a small thing. His team is a creative strategist. It's a community outreach coordinator. It's a Los Angeles-based publicist. 4 agents is unusual, Stugotz.
It is, but when you're trying to build a career after your football career and you're Travis Kelce, who's a massive star and has become an even bigger star, it kind of makes sense. I do find it funny that team is now concerned about overexposure and the fact that America might be starting to hate Travis Kelce. To me, you didn't see that coming. You're his team. You didn't see that coming 3 months ago. I tried to tell you 3 months ago.
Isn't every mission statement for a marketing team to make them as famous as possible? This seems pretty obvious. His marketing team wants him to be famous.
But it's a big team, is my point, and they've been successful in ways that are surprising. Tight ends don't get 7 commercials before Taylor Swift.
And I think it's also there's a difference between trying to make your client as famous as they can be and having the aspirations of one of the most famous people then outside of your sport, because not everybody is as charismatic as Travis Kelce. When he hosted SNL, it was funny. He's a funny guy. He had the ability from a younger age to have those types of aspirations and then becoming as successful as he was on the field. And now, in this article that you mentioned, Dan, they said game shows are something they would consider. This guy wants to kind of conquer any given side.
In our game show host draft? I don't think he was drafted.
Neither was Tony.
Really good one.
Neither was Tony Reale, which surprised me.
Wow.
I remember not that long ago on one of these shows, I'm going to say it's Netflix, a Space Force show with Steve Carell. Was it with Steve Carell?
Yeah, Steve Carell.
No, but I don't know if that's the one that Travis Kelce was in. There was another space show that I was surprised because it was my first indoctrination to, Travis Kelce wants some things that don't have anything to do with football.
He was on Moonbase 8.
That's the show. Moonbase 8.
With John C. Reilly and Fred Armisen.
Yes. And I was surprised.
You watched that?
I saw that episode, and I'm like, there's Travis Kelce on the moon. Didn't expect to see him there. But I also didn't expect to see him in a show about going to the moon. But this was before this all exploded in a way that makes him one of the signature personalities, not just in that sport, not just in sports. They were trying to make him as famous as The Rock, and he might not be there yet, but he's around there. Mm-hmm. In terms of most famous people inside or outside of sports right now, if you're Taylor Swift adjacent this way, you get to be as famous as anybody who's walking on this side of the world.
Is he more famous than Patrick Mahomes? Is he the most famous guy on his team? I think he might be.
Stugotz, Lamar Jackson doesn't have any of those commercials.
Right.
The guys who get those commercials are the quarterbacks and just some of the quarterbacks.
Lamar Jackson, by all reports, also doesn't have a team of people that are trying to get in those commercials.
That's
so
correct.
That is part of it as well.
That's correct. But my point in sending you to the New York Times article is, if you're cynical about this, go look at how orchestrated it actually was, because that team has achieved what it wished to achieve almost exactly.
What's kind of amazing about that, though, is that the biggest thing that's launched him into this extra level of superstardom was just a friendship bracelet joke made about Taylor Swift on a podcast. Yeah. And then that turned into them meeting each other and them dating, which has really taken him to another level. He was already, I guess, by that construction, famous enough to be able to enter that stratosphere. But really the thing that's taken off wasn't constructed at all. It was just a date that's turned into a relationship.
Listen, I try not to be overly cynical because I think cynicism is corrosive. But in this case, if you're a football player who is evidently hell-bent on becoming a big star beyond football, one of the best pathways to that is to have Taylor Swift as your girlfriend.
Okay, that's a very obvious thing to say, but this was all orchestrated before that was a possibility.
Okay,
But without that happening, this wouldn't be where he was at.
Well, I think the 7 commercials and the Moon Show were before Taylor Swift. Like he was
Had a 6-episode run, that Moon Show.
Not exactly.
2020,
a big
you
success.
can't count. There were so many shows in 2020 that didn't last.
This could also just be a guy who, compared to Lamar Jackson, gets a quarter of his contract. Kelce's contract is for $57 million. Lamar Jackson's getting $200 million. You can make the all guaranteed. Lamar Jackson doesn't need, not that Kelce needs it, but comparatively, he's trying to he could just be trying to maximize money. This could just be all about money.
He wants to be famous. That's fine.
How would he convince Taylor Swift to like him back in this cynical worldview? I'm just curious.
What's in it for Taylor to do this for Travis?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Bamboozle. He put a love spell on her.
Look, prior to and I
seen
hadn't
his
read
eyes?
that article, prior to hearing how hell-bent he is to be a big star, I had no cynicism about
Well,
that
what's wrong with
relationship.
that, though? Just explain. As if you wouldn't want that. As if you wouldn't do the same thing. As if you've said you want to be president of the United States just so you can have a staff.
Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
thing. That's a
Right.
thing that you've said.
Yeah.
Buy you a staff.
Would you date Taylor Swift?
No, I don't
Is
mean
what
a
Dan's asking,
staff. I
Greg.
mean like a people, like PAs.
Ask that again, Billy.
Didn't even hear you. Do you
Dan's
realize? No,
asking.
I heard what you said. I'd prefer he not answer that. Thank you. I was grateful that he didn't answer it. I was hoping it would escape without being answered.
I doubled
but
down.
yes, Stugotz always there for me in ways that hurt and aren't useful in any way.
Love you too.
I want a Gandalf staff. I'll become president to get one of those.
There you go.
Why are you judging him for wanting to be famous? What's wrong with wanting to be famous, especially if that's the thing that makes you popular these days with young people and makes you have a cultural relevance? You have Elon Musk and Zuckerberg trying desperately to buy popularity and fame.
Right. I have nothing against Travis Kelce. I'm not claiming that his relationship with Taylor Swift is designed to make him more famous.
It makes you wonder, though.
It makes you wonder. Yeah. It makes me wonder. Doesn't mean it has to make you wonder. It does make me wonder.
It's important that you think about these things at your age. The love life, like sticking our nose in the love life of Travis Kelce.
But people are asking that question, Dan. Is this real love? Is this contrived?
Okay,
Is it real?
Yes, that's fine.
Right.
They've been asking it for many weeks. I'm just sending you to an article that is pre the thought of, the best way to get famous, make it a giant pop star that you're dating. Yes.
But Greg's a journalist. Skepticism's a tenet of journalism, is it not?
It is. That's a fair comment.
Well,